What I learned in boarding school is...
What I learned in Chicago is not only a lot of architectural and historical facts and knowledge, but it was also interesting where I got to learn just about a different culture. It's like a new country, even if we stay in the US, even if it's just in a different state. It feels like you're going to a totally whole new country. There's new dress and style. The architecture, of course, is different. The food is different. And, learning that on our food tour and stuff, and just being able to experience something different. Like, I grew up in a smaller town and I didn't grow up traveling a lot. It makes me appreciate the knowledge I gain more because I'm not used to just going to places all the time. So when I do go, I'm very interested in the information and the history of things. So being able to learn about things that I've heard of so much and to actually see them in real life, like the Trump Tower, the Chicago Tribune, and all of Frank Lloyd Wright's stuff. It's really incredible. And something that I learned is that architecture that is old to us is still still around so much, and it's still super contemporary. Like the fact that Mies van der Rohe built so many of his skyscrapers 40 years ago and more, and yet they're still fit in with a city look, and they look very contemporary, and they don't look super outdated. So learning about Frank Lloyd Wright, and not just in school, but now being able to learn as we look at it in person and seeing where he worked. Being in Chicago really taught me more about his personal personality more than anything. In school you learn about the projects that he did and things like that. Getting a sense of his personality and who he was as a person in Chicago was really interesting because I had no idea that he was kind of stuck up and maybe a little too confident in his work. And that was something that I feel like we kind of learned throughout the tours that we got. Not that we got to meet him, but it's almost kind of like you got to meet him because you get to see their work in real life, which is super crazy because he's famous. Something I also learned about was the Unity Temple that he built. I went and researched that church and that religion, and I read about it because I was curious. I want to know, there's so many different religions out there that we don't know anything about, and I didn't know about that one, and I wanted to. And so just reading about it and what they do and believe was really interesting and really cool. A lot of cool things I learned came from neocon, and that was just a learning experience in and of itself. Just being able to understand what it looks like and what it is and what you do. We kind of understood what it was, and I was trying to understand what it was, but it just blew away my expectations, and more detailed and nice and fun than I thought it was going to be. And just being able to have conversations with people who come from all sorts of places, who work with all sorts of different types of companies, was really fun. I learned that being a rep is actually kind of cool. Not what I want to do, but when we've been told about it before, I'm always like, no, it seems like the worst job ever. Why would anyone want to do that? But now, I kind of get to see some of the more fun sides opposed to boring sides of it. They're the ones that pretty much run neocon. I mean, they're the ones that are there. They are the life of the party. They give the tours, and they play a really big part in that. And being able to really hang out with them and kind of in their atmosphere instead of them coming into our classrooms is really cool. And neocon just taught me how much opportunity there is out there because design is so versatile and flexible, and there's such a wide range of materials and furniture, and being able to see all the different kinds makes me respect design even more, and even more excited to be a part of it because all these creative minds here together. And that's something I really appreciate, is creativity and people who are creative. And so just being completely submersed in that and surrounded by that was the best feeling ever.